Sorority recruitment is underway on the Ole Miss campus, and many women are excited about finding their home away from home.
Coming up, NewsWatch reporter Kira Bettinecci reveals the stress that can come from the process and why it isn't always something to rush into.
Good evening, and thank you for tuning in to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Annabeth Polakovich.
And I'm Grace McClanahan.
Every year, thousands of Ole Miss women go through formal recruitment with hopes of becoming part of a prestigious sisterhood.
NewsWatch reporter Kira Bettinecci shows the unspoken side of the week-long process.
Sorority involvement has been a large part of the Ole Miss culture since the first chapter was established on campus in 1899. While recruitment can be an exciting time for the new college students, it is common for the effects of the long week to be ignored. Savannah Culver has been a community assistant on campus for 3 years and says this week has a noticeable effect on the girls involved.
We also have suicide watch 24/7 during rush week for girls who are cut, and most of that comes from the parental like pressure from their parents is what really stresses these girls out more than anything. So we are able to have some assistance from psychological services on campus as well.
Potential new members will receive their bid cards on Sunday morning here in the Grove, but even on such an exciting day, it's important to be aware of the mental and physical effects this process can have on those involved.
But the people going through rush, the freshmen, if there are other people rushing, then they have to go after all their rounds are over. The last round last night started at 9:50, so they go pretty late, and then it's basically half of the freshman class, girls, and they all have to go to the end to vote. And you can be standing in that line for 3 hours, so not getting home until, 12 o'clock at night, and then just now starting your homework, that's a lot of work for people. Plus being under the stress and you're with so many new people.
Many organizations are trying to make the recruitment process as enjoyable as possible with the same goal of relieving some stress for those participating.
That's probably our #1 priority, is to make sure everyone feels comfortable. You don't want them to be miserable. That's not the whole point of rush. The point of being in a sorority is finding your friends, finding your sisters, and having that connection that you're going to have for your whole life.
With this week having such large effects on the student body, Ole Miss has services available for those needing a helping hand throughout the week. Kira Bettinecci, NewsWatch, Ole Miss.
If you need help with stress for any reason, talk to the counseling center or any community assistant. Ole Miss midterms are coming soon for students here on campus. Taking the proper approach for these exams is important for your health and grades. As NewsWatch reporter Hannah Huff discovered, spreading out your studying is a winning strategy.
Instead of cramming last minute for midterms, this semester, prepare ahead of time to make this crazy week easier. Instructional Assistant Professor John Baker gives us all the tips and tricks to have a successful outcome.
One is break up the information you have into much smaller pieces and deal with one at a time, one block of that at a time. It's kind of like eating pie. You don't want to sit down and eat the whole pie at once, because then you just make yourself sick of the pie. If you cut it into smaller pieces, you enjoy the pie a lot more. Well, with studying for midterms, if you break up the things you need to learn into smaller pieces and focus on a piece at a time, you stand a much better chance of actually retaining that when you need it for the test.
Freshman Luke Holder plans to review lectures and locking himself down on the 3rd floor of the library.
Okay, I'm a little stressed, especially for chemistry, because that's a little bit hard for me, and just learning all the concepts and the equations, it's a lot of memorization, so I'm just a little worried about that, but other than that, I think I got it.
Hopefully you've already started studying for midterms coming up soon. Make sure to take advantage of all the resources offered on campus, such as in the library and writing center. This is Hannah Huff, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
Ole Miss does not have an official midterm week, but many students are taking their midterm exams over the next 3 weeks.
Quentin Tellis is on trial again for the 2014 murder of Jessica Chambers after last year's trial ended in a hung jury. Some of the last people to see Jessica alive testified yesterday. She very clearly told them someone named Eric set her on fire.
It looked like a zombie walking toward us because, the way she was walking, she wasn't walking fast. Her hands were out in front of her.
One first responder after the other testified that Jessica Chambers looked awful and horrific, with burns over 90% of her body. They testified she said Eric set her on fire, clear enough to frighten the very first responders.
I didn't know if Eric or whoever done it was still in the woods around us. I mean, you got to understand, it's pitch black dark. It's just 3 of us there at the time. No no protection.
Prosecutors say Jessica Chambers was too badly burned to say much of anything. But in this retrial, there's a big surprise for the prosecution. Witnesses testified that Jessica Chambers said a lot more than Eric did it.
I just told her, sweetheart, it's going to be okay. And she kept telling me, you know, I'm going to die.
Former Cortland Fire Chief Cole Haley said Chambers appeared alert.
She was breathing, and she asked me for water.
Prosecutors tried to point out that the 19-year-old could not speak well.
I could tell it was hard for her to talk.
First responders testified Jessica was hard to understand, but they knew she said her name, Jessica Chambers. And they knew she said Eric set her on fire. Quentin Tellis is on trial for the murder of Jessica Chambers. The name Eric is a hurdle prosecutors will have to get over.
Tellis faced trial last year for the murder of Chambers, but it ended in a mistrial. Enrollment from the Honors College is increasing, but students who are graduating from it aren't. NewsWatch reporter Abby McIntosh explains why some think the retention rate is staying the same.
Enrollment for the Ole Miss Honors College has increased over the past few years, but graduation rates aren't following the same trend. Honors College Associate Dean John Salmon says they are trying to increase the number of honor graduates.
We're trying to figure out how we can improve that. We have always been around 50 to 54% completion rate.
After research, Salmon says one reason students are not completing the honors program is because of the capstone thesis requirement.
You know, one of the biggest areas is completing the thesis. So we try to really start talking about that with students when they're sophomores, continuing with junior meetings and senior meetings.
While Salmon's believe graduation rate is down within the school is due to the thesis students have to write during their senior year, junior Alan Cuff believes it's because of the GPA requirement.
I have noticed a lot of people either fail out of the honors college in the first 2 years like I did, or they just leave.
Cuff also says one other reason graduation rates aren't increasing is because benefits tend to wear off after the first few years.
They really like it as an underclassman because you get that early registration, you know, and you get the benefits of the honors college, a place to study and stuff where the dorm rooms aren't quite so, you know, accommodating for that. And so a lot of people, after these benefits wear off, they just quit.
Despite the stagnant graduation rate, Public University Honors ranks the Ole Miss Honors College as one of the best in the nation. Salmon says they will continue to look at what's working and not working for the program. Abby McIntosh, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
October is National Financial Planning Month, and personal finance website Wallet Hub recently ranked all 50 states, including Washington, D.C., in their 2018's most and least financially savvy states analysis. Mississippi was ranked 51st. The states were ranked in 4 categories: debt and spending, financial literacy, credit, and saving. The top 5 states in the list were Massachusetts, New Hampshire, North Dakota, Minnesota, and Connecticut, respectively. Oklahoma, New Mexico, West Virginia, and Arkansas ranked just above Mississippi.
The Associated Student Body wants to improve student relations with the institutions of higher learning, but that's turning out to be a tall order. ASB President Elam Miller wants to see official student representation on the IHL Board of Trustees. The board is made up of 12 members appointed by the governor and confirmed by the Mississippi Senate. Because of this, Miller says adding a student to the board would require the state constitution to be amended. The House and Senate must then pass the amendment, and Mississippi citizens must vote to approve the change. The seasons are finally beginning to change in Oxford, and Campus Recreation is taking advantage of the cooler days by hosting more outdoor events. NewsWatch reporter Kristen Bentley is in the studio with more. Kristen?
Grace, that's right. Ole Miss Campus Rec is holding their second annual Fit Rig Fun Night on Friday. Today I spoke with some of the directors about what to expect at the event.
Ole Miss Campus Recreation is holding their annual Fit Rig Fun Night on Friday at their off-campus outdoor location. Assistant Director of Fitness Carrie Greenwood spoke about Fun Night and shared her hope for the event.
What we are trying to do is increase knowledge on how to use the Fit Rig. Different circuit workouts, body weight exercises, or we'll actually have some small pieces of equipment. For this event, we try to pull in faculty, staff, students, and the community by adding inflatables, yard games, free giveaways, free food, so we'll have food there for the first about 75 people. The goal behind our outdoor sports complex is to engage our community members and really give an active fitness space for not only our students and faculty and staff, but anybody in the community.
Shannon Richardson, the Assistant Director of Campus Recreation, attended Fun Night last year with her children.
They really enjoyed the bounce houses that we had set up there, and they enjoyed playing on the actual fit rig itself because there's a lot of fun. You know, kids see it and they think of it as a giant playground. All kinds of fun things that are obviously fitness related, but for a kid, it's like a whole world of fun.
The Fit Rig Fun Night is family friendly and open to anyone with the completion of a waiver.
The Fit Rig Family Fun Night is family friendly and open to anyone who fills out a waiver. The Fun Night will start at 5 p.m. at the Outdoor Sports Complex on Mall Drive. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Kristen. Coming up, we'll recap the week's events concerning Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh and how a new accuser could impact his hearing tomorrow.
And stay tuned to see why the Secretary of State is traveling to North Korea and what it could mean for denuclearization. But first, Cameron Sidley has your first look at the current conditions.
Happy Wednesday. As we take a look at our current weather headlines, you can see we're going to see some high humidity this week. Temperatures are going to continue to rise, but good news, we'll have a nice sunny weekend. As we take a look at our current radar image, you can see the clouds over Oxford right now, but coming up on Stormwatch, I'll tell you exactly what you guys need for the rest of the week.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Here she comes. I, Krista, take you, Jamie, to be my wife.
When we found out that we were pregnant, we were just elated. We were just sitting there waiting for the pediatrician. She said she won't be taking you in as a client.
We are a lesbian couple, but she's just a baby. She's the one you're denying the service to.
All eyes will be on Capitol Hill tomorrow as President Trump's Supreme Court nominee, Brett Kavanaugh, and the woman who is accusing him of sexual assault will publicly testify. All 10 Democrats on the Senate Judiciary Committee are urging President Trump to withdraw Brett Kavanaugh's Supreme Court nomination or order an FBI investigation after a third accuser has come forward. In a signed affidavit, Julia Swetnick says Kavanaugh drank heavily and fondled girls at parties without their consent in the 1980s. Swetnick alleges that Kavanaugh was present at a party where she was drugged and gang raped, but she does not identify Kavanaugh as one of her alleged attackers. The Senate Judiciary Committee is now reviewing the allegations. In a statement, Kavanaugh says, "This is ridiculous and from the Twilight Zone. I don't know who this is, and this never happened."
Judge Kavanaugh doesn't know her. This never happened, and he said that over and over and over again, that he never engaged in any of that behavior.
Kavanaugh is facing accusations of sexual misconduct from multiple women during the 1980s, including Christine Blasey Ford's claim. Republicans say despite calls for a delay, tomorrow's hearing is still on.
Like I have a definite responsibility to hold the hearing, not only for her, but for Judge Kavanaugh.
Republican senators have called in a sex crimes prosecutor, Rachel Mitchell, to handle the questioning. Meanwhile, President Trump continued to weigh in written testimony for tomorrow's hearing.
The Democrats are playing this game that
is disgraceful. It's a disgrace to the country.
Kavanaugh says he's facing a barrage of last-minute smears. The second woman accusing Kavanaugh, Deborah Ramirez, talked with Congress members today over a phone call to discuss her allegations.
The Parkland school shooter was back in court today. The hearing focused on 2 defense motions for the shooter, Nicholas Cruz. The first motion is seeking to find prosecutors and law enforcement in contempt for disclosing privileged information to a statewide commission. The other is trying to reclassify witnesses whose value to the state was understated by the state's attorney office. 20-year-old Cruz faces the death penalty if he is convicted on the 17 counts of first-degree murder he is facing. He's also charged with 17 counts of attempted murder. The Secretary of State is headed back to North Korea to prepare for President Trump's second trip to the country. Mike Pompeo will be meeting with senior leaders in North Korea to work on the details of a second summit between President Trump and Kim Jong-un. The president says the upcoming summit will happen fairly quickly and that North Korea has potential to be an economic power. Pompeo's visit is a rescheduling of a trip he had planned for August. At that time, President Trump asked Pompeo not to make the trip because he didn't believe North Korea was making enough progress denuclearizing.
Well, it has been a cloudy day in Oxford, and it doesn't look like the rain will be leaving anytime soon.
Coming up, Cameron Sidley will let us know if the storms will continue in her extended forecast.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here. I've got your back.
when you want to talk, I'm here.
Leah, did you put a new dent in that?
This one? No.
Were you texting and driving again?
Yes.
Hi, Leah.
Hi, Dad.
Sorry about your bumper.
I got some Oxy after I hurt my neck. First I took them to feel better. Then I just kept taking them. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Hey Rebels, happy Wednesday. It was a pretty gloomy day here in Oxford today. So we take a look at our current temperatures. We're at 71 degrees, still pretty cloudy outside with some just slight winds and a 15% chance of rain. So right now we're just looking at some clouds. As we take a look at our satellite image, like I said, just some cloud coverage over Oxford right now. It looks like we'll skip the rain a little bit, at least for tonight. As we move on to our current temperatures, pretty cool all around. We have 68 in South Haven, 69 in Holly Springs, 71 in Oxford, 72 in Corinth, and 78 the hottest in Tupelo. As we take a look at tomorrow's temperatures, it's going to be pretty similar to today. We have 71 in South Haven and Holly Springs, 73 in Oxford, 74 in Corinth, and 76 in Tupelo. So pretty cool day tomorrow. So we move on to tonight's forecast. Going to drop down to 60 degrees, so not too bad. Just some light rain with a 50% chance of rain, so you definitely want to look out for that. As we take a look at tomorrow's forecast, you can see 73 degrees, again similar to today, overcast with some light winds and a 20% chance of rain. So Again, look out for that. As we move on to our 5-day forecast, you can see we have Friday at 80, Saturday at 82, Sunday at 85, Monday at 84, and Tuesday also at 84. So at least we're looking at a sunny weekend. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Cameron. Another day and another award nominee for the Ole Miss football team. See which lineman is being considered for the Campbell Award.
And the Ole Miss golf team was at the middle of the pack on day 1 of their tournament. But see where Braden Thornberry and company finished up next in Sports Watch.
Don't ignore the subtext. It's on us to intervene in sexual assault. Because we can. Take the pledge at itsonus.org.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Sports Watch. I'm AJ Norwood. The awards just keep rolling in for the Rebel football team as senior Sean Rawlings was named a semifinalist for the 2018 William B. Campbell Trophy. The honor is awarded to an individual recognized as the absolute best football scholar athlete in the nation. The Madison, Mississippi native is also on the Remington Trophy watch list for the best center in the country. Rawlings has appeared in 36 career games with 30 starts in a Rebel uniform. The awarding for the finalists will be held in New York City, where the winner of the 25-pound bronze trophy will have his postgraduate scholarship increased to $25,000. Ole Miss soccer now has a new record holder for all-time goals scored for the program. Senior CC Kaiser's 2-goal performance against Auburn means she now sits all alone at the top of the record books. NewsWatch reporter Chance Robertson has more on this milestone.
Senior CC Kaiser scored a 45th and 46th career goals in the last game. The achievement is a testimony to her hard work and innate ability to put the ball in the back of the net. Head coach Matt Mott tells us how the record reflects on Kaiser's impact for the Rebels.
I think it shows her quality and how important she's been to our program over the last 4 years.
Kaiser has been a consistent threat for the Rebels throughout her career, with this being her 3rd season with double-digit goals. Mott had a simple explanation for this.
She's a goal scorer for sure. She has a knack to score goals, which is great.
The last game was the 3rd game Kaiser was within 1 goal from tying Sousa's record. And now that she finally has it, she can focus on playing her game without any more distractions.
It was quite a relief to finally get that record, just because people have been talking about it for so many weeks and just keep reminding me, and it's always been in the back of my mind. So to finally get it, I kind of felt like I was free to play again.
Kaiser's performance has not gone unnoticed by people having received many messages and alerts on social media and her phone.
So I have more Facebook notifications than I've ever had in my life, and my Twitter has nonstop been blowing up, and so many people back home have been texting me, and past teammates and coaches, and everyone here has been amazing, and my family has been such a great support system for me, and everyone's been rooting for me this season, so it's just been really great, and to know that I have so many people that support me and my dreams.
While having her name on the record books is nice, Kaiser says she hopes she has inspired girls coming into the program to make it better and to chase their goals as well. Chance Robertson, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
The Ole Miss men's golf team teed up at the Shoal Creek Invitational yesterday afternoon, tying fourth with a 54-hole total of 870. Braden Thornberry and Jackson Suber each placed in the top 10 to lead the Rebels. Thornberry tied for his 25th top 10 finish as a Rebel to inch closer to the program record of 26 top 10 finishes in a career. Suber finished the day tied for 9th after a final round 2 over 74. The talented freshman has appeared in the top 10 in his first 2 collegiate tournaments. Rebel head coach Chris Malloy says there are tons of positives to take away as they prepare to clean up for their tournament later this week. Former starting quarterback Kelly Bryant has decided to transfer from Clemson. On Monday, Bryant was informed that he had been demoted in favor of true freshman Trevor Lawrence even after starting the past 18 games for the Tigers. The soon-to-be transfer described the incident as a slap to the face. Both Bryant and Lawrence split time through the first 4 games of the season as Lawrence leads the quarterback competition with 600 passing yards and 9 touchdowns. Bryant has the opportunity to transfer to another school with 1 year of eligibility remaining because he only played 4 games this season. That's all I have for you today in sports. Be sure to follow us at NewsWatch_UM to stay up to date with all things sports. Grace, Annabeth, back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, AJ. Up next, find out which emergency one 10-year-old recently faced.
Stay tuned to see why calling 911 was not out of the equation for this young boy.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout,
tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
It only takes a moment to make a moment.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.
We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are distinguished as a Carnegie R1 top 2.5% research institution. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
They gave me Vicodin after my knee surgery. They kept prescribing it, so I kept taking it. I didn't know it would be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans, because love has no labels.
A child in Colorado recently called 911 because he needed urgent help. It wasn't a home invasion or a kidnapping or a fire. It was math. He was under attack by long division.
The child hoped to find the answer to the equation 3,052 divided by 71. And the math crisis originally caught Fort Collins emergency dispatcher Chris Clow off guard. But after taking time to reach for a calculator, Clow had an answer, 42.98. Fort Collins police want to remind people that 911 should only be used for real emergencies. But Clow is happy he could help lend a helping hand.
Well, I can relate to that one. Cameron, what do you think about the weather? Speaking of emergencies, do we need an emergency umbrella?
Yeah, we'll definitely need there'll be a little bit of rain
thanks,
tonight.
Cameron.
Yep.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
That's all we have for tonight. Thank you for tuning in to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Annabelle Kowalkiewicz.
Be sure to join us here again tomorrow night at 5 and on NewsWatchOleMiss.com. I'm Grace McClanahan. Thank you and good night.